Hello and welcome to Pass It Game. This is Pass It 8989. Today we are going to be covering communications within H1Z1. That's right, H1Z1 has an internal program in reference to communications when you want to talk with your friends or want to talk with outsiders or other people within the game itself and with the gaming community. You do not have to use an outside source or a third-party source such as Skype or one of those other talk program, TeamSpeak or whatever they happen to have out there. They usually cause lag in most systems or whatnot. But H1Z1 has a voice program or voice chatting program already built into their system, which helps in communications, like I said earlier. Now, they're using a system called Vvox.com, which is a developer of different communications systems for games and things like this, for games and for other devices as well. Sold to developers and or given to developers and home users if home users want to use it like a TeamSpeak or so to speak or whatnot. So what I'm going to do is just cover the basics in communications on this game to give you guys some general idea in reference to how to use it for those that don't know how to use it, and answer a couple questions such as how to unmute someone. And when I say unmute, I'm talking about completely unmuting them, not just the method of minus or plus on the keypad. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to get into is the normal communications. When you're in normal communications, you will have a radio if you have it turned on. Or not a radio, but your settings for your proximity chat. Actually, that's the wrong screen there, but that's quite all right. Anyway, for your proximity chat, usually the default is keypad number 1, and I have it set for number 1. I believe I'm not too sure what the default is, but yeah, I'm thinking it's 1. But anyway, I have mine set for 1. So basically, what this is for local proximity chat. The proximity chat is only within a couple feet of your character, or I'm not sure how many feet exactly it is, but it's just within a short range. They won't be able to hear you on the other side of the map. So if I press the number 1 keypad, you'll see in the upper left-hand corner, my name will appear with a microphone or a speaker type symbol next to it, just on the left-hand side of my name. And that indicates that I'm now proximity chatting. So if I go like this and start talking, people within proximity of where my range is would have been able to hear me. Now most of the time, if you see that popping up but there's no voice coming out, it usually indicates that they're either hitting a button and getting dead space or dead air, or they're out of the range, but you can see their name still appearing, and that means they're just out of range. Now, another communication system is if you're in a group, such as here, which I'm not in a group, and I shut my groups down when I don't have my friends here. But if you're in a group, a private group, you can, so long as they are in the group members listing here, we'll be able to talk to each other privately. And in my case, I have it set for number pad number 3 because I like to keep all the keys for communications all within the same zone, same location, so it's easy for me to get to. So if you press the key that is set up for your group talk, only your group members will be able to hear you. Proximity will not hear you, and the radio will not hear you. Now, if you're fortunate enough to find a CB radio somewhere in the game, which is quite often easy, usually in trash can or houses or inside of cars or whatnot, they just randomly all over the place. Most of the time you can find them in dumpsters. You can get this, once you click that radio, it will appear under your radios tab, under your inventory. It'll pop under radio. Once you put this radio on, you can press the on button, and it gives you 40 channels. It will give you 40 channels, and that was somebody chit-chatting on there. So it will give you 40 channels to be able to talk back and forth on to use. So you can, if you and your friends want to talk on channel 38, 39, 40, and so forth, channel 19, channel 23. Channel 19 is actually quite famous in the U.S. You always hear breaker 19. That's what you're talking about, number channel 19 or whatnot. But on the certain servers, they may have a certain, like a community channel, which on this server that I'm on is on channel 1. Everybody's always on channel 1. Now, you want to make sure that if you don't want to hear them because they're too loud, you get a person, let's say a person is kind of loud, right? And you want to turn the person's volume down. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to channel 1 so you can hear them, and I'll give a demonstration of what you want to do. If the person's voice is kind of loud, you want to take and press the number pad minus button. Now the number pad minus button will lower the volume down for that particular person. You can use this to actually mute someone out if you don't want to hear them any further, but you need to make sure that they are the only ones talking at the time so that you can mute that particular person. Now what that does is just lowers the volume down to where you cannot hear them anymore, but you can still see them chatting. Their name will still appear in the upper right-hand corner, upper left-hand corner. Now, if you want to turn the volume up, you press the number keypad plus, the plus symbol just above the enter key. Now that will raise the volume up. So I'm just going to give a quick demonstration of how to do that, just in how the sounding will work. So I'm going to go to channel 1 and we'll hear people chatting on there for just a split second here. So here we go. This person here is talking. I want to turn her volume up.
Then I just muted him anyway.
So I press
then I just muted him anyway.
And in this case for cash flow here, I press the minus button to lower him down, and then press it back up for the volume to go up.
I did it because I wanted to see.
And then I'm just going to turn that off. Now let's say, yeah, it takes a couple seconds to turn off. So let's just say we have an asshole or moron on here that's getting on my nerves, and I really don't want to hear him, and he's getting on everybody's nerves, and nobody wants to hear him. You know, maybe he's getting her spatting out with some racial bullshit, or just in general making stupid noises that nobody really wants to hear, like a 2-year-old, like they normally like to do. And these people are only on there just to make a nuisance of themselves and to annoy everybody else on the game. That's the only reason why they do it. And those that make noise, like telling them to shut up and go to hell and go off my channel, and any type of acknowledgement that you give this person, this troll, this individual that's an asshole, they will keep doing it because they're getting the attention that they want. Well, the quickest way of getting rid of their attention is either hitting the minus key on the number pad to lower their volume down so you no longer hear them anymore, or the mother of all mutes is the enter button on the keypad, on the number pad. Hitting that enter button while that person is talking will mute them permanently. You will not see their name appear on the screen. You will not even know that person exists. Now, they will be able to talk to you if they are in proximity chat. So, if you mute someone, make sure you don't go near where that asshole is in the game. If you do, just ignore them and keep running. I don't think there's a way to mute them in the capacity of proximity chat. Now, I'm going to try to demo. I'm going to try this to see if it'll work, but I may not know. I have to see what happens. Now, if you want to unmute someone, let's say you're talking to your best friend or whatnot, you're talking to a group of your friends, and some asshole comes on and he starts making stupid noises, barking like a dog or squirting or quacking like a duck or whatever it happens to be, because we get all kinds of shit and idiots on here doing this type of stuff. But let's say you mistakenly press the enter pad key on the number pad, here we go, and you mute the wrong person. You mute your friend or you mute somebody else that did not deserve to be muted because they wasn't really doing anything, but they were just talking in response to the idiot making sounds. Well, I'm going to show you how to get rid of this, how to remove that mute so that you can hear that person once again. And in order for me to do that, I need to shut the game down completely. You want to make sure that H1Z1 is not running or Steam is not running as well. Because if they are running, no matter what changes you make to the INI file that you have to adjust, it will still remain the same. It will go back to its default, which is whatever it was before the game was closed down. So you want to make sure that you don't have the game running or Steam running it during the time that you're doing the editing. So we're going to go right into that, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so here we are at my desktop here. So you want to get into the INI files, the files of where your H1Z1 game is stored. But as I said, you want to make sure that your Steam and your H1Z1 game is not on. You want to make sure it's fully disconnected, or you're basically turned off. I have mine still on because I'm not going to make permanently the changes I'm doing right now. And before you do anything, do have some type of knowledge in reference to what you're about to do, because if you go in and hit the wrong file, remove the wrong file, delete the wrong thing, you're going to have to reinstall either the Steam or the game itself, and that could be a bitch depending on how big the update is, or how far along they've gone with updates later on in the future, or whatever time you watch this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to a computer shortcut. Yeah, I know it's kind of big there. The file's all fucked up. I got to clean that out. Anyway, I'm going to go to primary drive, I'm going to go to Program Files, and in this case is x86. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to go down to the Steam folder, which is right here. I'm going to open the Steam folder. I'm going to go down to the Steam apps, and then I'm going to go to Common. Don't worry about nothing else here. Just go to Common. When I get to Common, I'm going to see the games that I have that are on Steam here listed. Now, in this case, I've only got 3 here, and I just kind of mess around with these games here. So H1Z1, I'm going to click this one, and I'm going to get this long list of folders and DLL files, as well as a couple INIs. Now, none of these are important. I do not want to touch any of these. They have no use to me whatsoever. What I do want to look for is I'm looking for this one right here. UserOptions.ini. That's the one I want. So I'm going to left click this one to open it up in my notepad. If it doesn't allow you to open up a notepad and ask you where you want it to open, do select notepad. Make sure you open it up in notepad. You don't want to open up anywhere else, or else it's not going to save under INI. It could, but I've never really messed with that much for it to do that. Now, these other things here where it says display, rendering, control, sound, video streamer, none of this is important right now. You do not have to worry about any of this. These are things that you can set in the game file itself when you go into the your settings. I'm going to move all the way down to the bottom. We don't need to worry about user interface.ui and shit like this. Voice chat, yeah, okay, now we're getting to our area where we need to pay attention to. But the most important area that you want to look at the most here is voice volumes. Every person you talk to, every person that you hear, or every person that talks near you, and they are using the program to chat, and you can hear them either on the radio or local chat, I believe, especially local chat or proximity chat, they will, this signature or this key where it says SIP World 13, the name of the person, and HZP, which is the H1Z1 protocol, and Vivox.com, which is the chat program where it comes from, the host for the program. So they're hosted right from Vivox itself. And then next to it is some numbers here where it says equals and then the volume number. This is the volume setting for what that person is set at. So when I hear the person My Destiny, which I have no idea who this person is, they probably would have been within earshot of me or been on this radio or whatever, I have their volume is set at 078, probably because they were extremely loud or extremely dull, and I could barely hear them because some people talk like they're talking from a potato instead of a microphone. So what's going to happen is, if you look at all of these names, these are all the names of people that have been, that I've communicated with or actually heard on the radio or said something to or anything like this. Now, the problem is, and this is actually going back because Joe Cavallo, he's not even under this name anymore. He's under a different name on the game here. So this is going back all the way to the first time I've had the game. So this file can be quite long depending on how many people you've chatted with. So let's say you mistakenly muted someone and you want to get them off mute. And I'm not saying mute as in the minus button or the minus button to lower the volume, because if you did that, these numbers here would be lower. Like, for example, this person here, creeping on or whatever. I didn't mute this person, but I did set them at the lowest setting, which is all zeros, which means I can't hear them. So if I can't hear them, but I can still see the name up here if they say something. I put them that way, so I didn't really want to mute them at the time because I was probably busy and there was a lot of people talking to tell them to shut up, which is you'll get left and right, which all they're doing is feeding the trolls. So, okay, let's say that you delete somebody by mistake, or if you want to undelete someone, you want to remove them from the muting, or not deleting, but muting. You want to unmute someone. You want to get them from the mute. Let's say, for example, this pain in the ass here, Burr, whatever his freaking name is. His name is Burr. This guy was getting on the radio saying all kinds of stupid shit on channel 1 on the TV. So everybody on the server ended up muting his ass. But anyway, this here information is his address. This is his chat address. This is this signal here, which means anything that he's talking about on H1Z1 will always come from this chat channel. This can never change unless he changes characters or talks with a different character. Now, on this case here, if you notice up here where this guy has a sound bar, where his sound setting is, and this guy down here where their setting is, there's a difference between the guy that's been muted and the guy that is not muted, and the difference is this minus symbol. In order to unmute this person, to take them off of the muted list, it's so simple as going to that minus symbol and hitting delete. Remove it. Backspace it. Do whatever. Just get rid of it. And make it look like, make sure that it's connected to, or connected like the other ones. Here, now it looks just the same as these other channels here. I'm going to put that back because I don't want his ass on my channel. Okay, so once they've been unmuted, you want to go up to File and hit Save. Don't hit Save As. You want to hit Save. But I highly recommend before you make any changes to this INI file that you turn around and save the file first. Save another copy and paste somewhere else. Change the name, store it in another folder somewhere else outside of the Steam folder. That way, if something happens during your editing that you screw up, you can go back and just replace that file with the file you've already saved. Now, in my case, I'm not going to save the changes because there's no really need for me to save the changes because I ain't saving it anyway. Do make sure that, as I said before, that your game is disabled, turned off, or whatnot. You want to make sure it's not active when you're doing this because no matter what changes I make here right now, it won't matter because the game is turned on still. And if I make any of these changes while the game is still on, the game has the current memory of this in file, so it will replace it again no matter what I do. So that is how you... I'm going to exit that. Don't save. So that is how you are able to... unmute someone in H1Z1. Now, I've heard many different people try different methods, and I've really not gotten a really good answer from anyone in game or on Reddit or any other file, even from H1Z1 itself. Maybe they don't even know. But yeah, to remove them is, just follow what I told you here. I will have information in the description below on how to do this. Do make sure that you know what you're doing, and do make sure to save the file before you make any alterations to it. You want to make sure you save it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you unmute someone you did not intend to mute, or someone you want to unmute somebody that you did intend to mute a long time ago. Maybe it's somebody that was an ass before, and now they want to be friends, and you've forgiven them or whatnot. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Now you know how to unmute them. All it is so simple as removing that little minus number, that little minus key from next to the to their name. So what I'm going to say now is basically that's about it. That's how you do it, and then you go back into your game and play, and the person should be unmuted. So that's about it. So as always, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more information or more gaming tips and reviews, and also some gaming play that I'm going to be doing later on, and also some basic crazy shit that I'm always getting into that I'm going to be recording shortly and adding on here from either H1Z1 and or other games that I'm playing. Do leave a comment below if you have a question in reference to the method that I'm showing here. If it doesn't work for you, do let me know. I'd like to see what is different and why it is not working. For me, it's worked every single time, and I hope it does work for you as well if you mistakenly mute someone that you did not want to mute. So anyway, that's it for now. Take care. Thanks for watching as always, and see you again soon. Happy gaming.